So the debate this evening is Stephen Fielding. That Stephen Fielding is real. Joining us on the affirmative side, we have Dan Illick and Chris KP. Give them a round of applause. And on the negative this evening, here to prove that Steve Fielding is not real, please welcome Charles Burt. Opening comments from the affirmative side tonight is Dan Illick. Dan Illick, of course, a filmmaker best noted for his invention, the 10-second sitcom, which you can see on YouTube. Check it out. So Dan, are you ready to come to the podium and open your remarks? That Steve Fielding is real. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, my good friend, Charles Smith. Thank you very much. It's good to be in Parramatta. Parramatta. Aboriginal for where the wogs drive their cars. Very good, yeah. Very good. Now, does Stephen Fielding exist? Now, the Oxford Dictionary defines exist as to have object reality, or a decent-sized Wikipedia page. I can confirm that Stephen Fielding does have a decent-sized Wikipedia page, but more in a moment. But first, let me tell you guys a story. Let's take a trip back to my childhood. Back when I was a little girl, our family every July would go up to the mountains and just gather around a wood stove and pray for a hotter world. Then after some more praying, and some more praying, we'd wait 4 months, and finally that day arrived. And that first hot day was known as Stevesmas. In ancient German lore, old Saint Steve would dress up on the first warm day and hand out jackets and scarves and gloves to all the townspeople. And we'd all dance around, getting sweaty, until denying the heat became unbearable. Stevesmas became a bit of a tradition. In fact, the lead-up was the best part. To this day, I remember the 12 days of Stevesmas. In the lead-up, we'd crash 12 hybrid cars, dismantle 11 wind turbines, burn 10 truck tyres, and then on the final day, we'd shoot, pluck, roast, and eat 1 partridge from a Wallamai pine, which we will then cut down and burn just for fun. In fact, it wasn't happy days, Chris. I remember my dad died in a tragic Wallamai pine burning accident. The Christmas lights, or the Stevesmas lights as we called it, had a flaw in them. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. That never happened, just a little joke. Off the cuff, stick to the notes down. Look, even today when the weather gets warmer, I get a chill up my spine, ironically. Some people suggest that old Saint Steve is kind of like this thing called climate change, which is ambiguous at best. Let's face it. The old G8 leaders got together and said there's only going to be a 2% temperature rise over the next 15 years. I mean, we swear, we're going to lock it in at 2%, it's not going to get any hotter. Are you kidding? Leaders of the world, just in the last 15 minutes, seeing all of these wonderful, progressive, young, lefty women. My temperature's risen over 2%. In fact, maybe we should put my number up there. Actually, no, I'm actually really scared of really hot girls, so I'll just stick to Twitter. Here's my Twitter name, so just, whatever. I mean, if you want to, even Facebook. You decide. Yeah. It's one of those things. Now, some people suggest that Steve doesn't exist. The same way that Alan Jones suggests that he doesn't have prostate cancer. Why, I remember him saying, "Good morning, everyone. Many of you may have read out there that I, Alan Jones, King of the Universe, Lord of the World, have prostate cancer. Well, let me tell you, it's prostraterous, that. In fact, every time, up to 4 or 5 times a day, I get my prostate checked, and it's very uncomfortable for those who watch. And I certainly don't have prostate cancer, because the best way to not have prostate cancer is to not know you have prostate cancer. Oh, Alan Jones, if that was only true, otherwise we would have been ignoring you for years. In fact, I have irrefutable proof that Stephen Fielding does exist. Charles, first, I have in my hand an email that was handed to me by Goodwin Gretsch. In that email, he gave me a link to a little-known documentary that was made by Kevin Rudd in 2007, a feature film, Charles Firth, you may not have heard of, called An Inconvenient Senator. Rudd was very pragmatic. He suggested that even Stephen Fielding had his own right to have a chat, right to democracy. In fact, in his own words, you know how he talks in 80s sitcom theme songs, I believe he said, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you might not be right for some. Different strokes, it takes different strokes, it takes different strokes to move the world. And then I believe Wayne Swan turned and said, what you talking about, Kevin? No, it is true. It is absolutely true, this email right here. Kevin Rudd then went on to bake some damper, shootaroo, and evenly distribute condiments from the same sauce bottle to everyone at his party. Now, speaking of Al Gore, I saw Al Gore on a video before. Is it just me, or does he talk in some sort of alien robot talk? We need to take care of the planet. Take me to your leaders. Thank you, just thought of that then. Pretty good straight to the dome, as they would say, as you people would say. Now, back to my original thought about Wikipedia. Stephen Fielding does exist. In fact, I just checked his Wikipedia page. Can we bring that up, Tim? There it is here. Allegedly born in 1960. He's the patron saint of Steve's on the first hot day of the year. There we go. There is much speculation as his actual existence. Many academics and scientists suggest this is true, however, choose to disregard the facts, or rely solely on faith. He is also a bit of a douche. So, Charles Firth, unrefutable fact, Steve Fielding does exist.
For opening the case for the affirmative that Steve Fielding is real. Thank you very much for your text messages. This one came in from, I won't read the number to you, but the number ending in 818. It's curious that Steve Fielding, the leader of a religious political party, would not believe in a concept because he hasn't seen actual proof. Thanks for those comments. Keep them coming in. I'll just put my feet. Sorry, I'm not taking calls now because we have an esteemed colleague from across the shores. Ladies and gentlemen, opening for the negative team tonight is Professor Charles Firth, a visiting fellow from Harvard University and author of the recently released book, The Firth Amendment. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Charles Firth to the podium.
Thank you. Actually, before I start, well, I should probably do rebuttal, shouldn't I? Because this is a debate, isn't it? But debate first. So, actually, Dan. Yeah, I too celebrated Steve's-mas when I was young. But then at about the age of 7. My parents told me that Steve's-mas doesn't exist. They lied. What? Steve's-mas. It's not true. Neither is the... Bullshit! Bullshit! All right. Go to a happy place. Go to a happy place. It is. That's right.
See, I took my mobile phone. Commitment to the joke.
Well, that was a little upstaging, wasn't it? Okay, and then, I was like, you present some truth that is fine, isn't it? Hello? Oh, right, okay.